In this video, we're going to dive deeper into the character of the shark. The objective of this video is to understand all the characteristics of a shark so that we can avoid these tendencies in our process. The reason why you want to avoid shark tendencies in your process is because the shark is focused solely on the confirmation. They spend so much time and energy trying to close deals that they don't often get there the right way, that they forget that there's a part of the process to turn over the puzzle pieces of the customer's story. And that's important to be able to provide solutions that are custom calibrated and on the money for your customer. If the shark did these things, they wouldn't have to focus so much energy on the close and selling the car. Think about this. People hate to be sold, but they love to buy. A customer doesn't get out of bed in the morning and go, I'm going to get sold a car today. They think about buying a car, and the gravity process is all about helping more people buy. We invented the character of the shark to be able to encapsulate the feelings of pressure and aggressiveness and unethicalness that happens in sales processes. All of these characteristics belong to the shark, and people don't like them. And think about this. There are options out there, and more customers are buying vehicles online because of characters like the shark. They don't want to feel uncomfortable or uncertain or feel pressure, and this is what the shark brings. In our future video on the shark dial, the shark and the gravity dial that matches up perfectly is relevance versus pressure. You see, the shark uses pressure as techniques and tactics to be able to achieve a sale. And he would benefit from adding relevance to these closes by establishing need properly and turning over those puzzle pieces so they can present solutions that are on the money. And then their closes and confirmations wouldn't have to be so aggressive. They'd be more relevant to the customer, and the customer would say, oh, I get what you're saying. Sure, but that's only achievable if you are a dolphin. So why don't I dive in here to the 5 characteristics of a shark that you want to avoid? Let's do it right now. Because sharks use pressure instead of relevance, they create some feelings inside customers that makes them want to run away and makes them afraid. And these types of feelings aren't the feelings of confidence. They're the feelings of uncertainty. So these are the top 5 characteristics of a shark that you need to avoid. And if you're experiencing any of these tendencies in the showroom or with your customer out on the lot or in the dealership, you're going to want to always resort to being relevant rather than using pressure. And the way that you do that is by using the green sheet and turning over the puzzle pieces, as we've said so many times. So the first characteristic of a shark is that they're selfish. You will hear us say about the shark that the shark makes this sound. Me, 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 me. While that may sound funny, the shark is selfish to the point where they don't care about the customer story, that they only focus on the close. This makes the customer experience irrelevant and not on the money for the customer. They can't make rational thoughts with all of that pressure. And the reason that pressure is there is because the shark is so selfish to get that deal and feed themselves that they forget that there is more to the story, that there's another side to the coin, and that's the customer story. And this is the most important part. The second characteristic is pushiness. Sharks are pushy. You see, dolphins aren't pushy because they're relevant. And if you use relevant needs as your driving force, you will never be pushy. And you will never be pushy if you activate the 5 most powerful words. You mentioned to me earlier. This is how a dolphin talks. Well, a shark doesn't talk like that. A shark tells the customer what they want, forces the customer into situations, and is pushy. This is a reason why customers would prefer to do their shopping online because they don't want to encounter a shark in a dealership. And by the way, we're not making this up. Our industry is famous for people using pressure on customers and having them feel uneasy. So we got to stop doing that. And the right way to do it is to stop being pushy, sharks, and pick up a green sheet and activate the 5 most powerful words. Mr. Jones, you mentioned to me earlier. This would give so much more effectiveness to the closes that a shark uses, and you wouldn't have to focus so much energy on it. The third characteristic that a shark has is they're aggressive. And aggressiveness turns people off because a shark is an ambush predator. And it knows that if it doesn't get this customer right now, they're never going to see that customer again because they may experience a better experience at another dealership and forget about that shark and be glad they got out of the water when they did. So sharks have to be aggressive, and they have to strike fast, and they have to strike hard. And this causes uneasiness in customers. Customers can sense if the closes that the shark is putting on the customer aren't relevant. It makes customers feel uneasy, often frustrated, and sometimes even scared. So sharks, when you become aggressive, you turn customers off. And the reason that you're aggressive is because you're not rational or relevant with your solutions or closes. If you picked up the green sheet and dived into those questions and understood why the customer was buying a new vehicle today, you'd be able to present those solutions to make them feel confident rather than scared. This would be a good thing for the shark. The fourth characteristic is pressure. Sharks use pressure because pressure exists in the absence of relevance. I'm going to have to focus on all these closes if I'm a shark to be able to get this deal. Problem is, the shark is missing tons of business because if they spent less energy on closing and more energy on establishing need and turning over the puzzle pieces and being able to activate the 5 most powerful words you mentioned to me earlier. I keep saying this, but if you can't say that to a customer, you simply haven't established need enough and you'll have to resort to pressure. This is why a shark is the way they are. I don't want any more people to buy vehicles online. Sure, you can do your research on there, but if everybody starts buying their vehicles online because of sharks, sharks are poison to the environment. So let's pick up that green sheet and let's start providing solutions that are on the money, and then we wouldn't have to close so hard. And the fifth and probably the worst characteristic of a shark is unethical. Sharks can sometimes resort to lying and unethical behavior to convince customers to buy. They'll say whatever they need to say to get that deal. And we know that this causes problems at closing time, but it also causes more problems as they build up, as customers reveal to themselves that some of these things that they were told weren't true. And this isn't fair. We love customers in the gravity process. This is why we feel it is so important to not be unethical with your customers, because your customers are special and they need help. And this is why the gravity process is all about helping people buy and not selling. And the shark is all about selling, and this turns people off. So sharks, if you weren't so selfish, you weren't so pushy, aggressive, used pressure, and unethical, you'd be able to help more people buy. And we have one simple solution for you. Because the shark is focused on the confirmation, why don't we put a little bit more energy into establishing need and understanding the feelings of confidence or uncertainty in our customer so that we can provide solutions that will make that customer feel confident rather than use pressure and make them feel uncertain and oftentimes afraid. Sharks, it's not over. You can easily evolve to dolphins by doing these things. But that was the top 5 characteristics of a shark. And if you experience yourself using some of these techniques, you know it's simple. Go to the need and dive in and ask a customer, hey, why are you considering a new vehicle today? That's a great place to start. So, in the gravity process, we want to evolve all sharks into dolphins. Learn the skills of a dolphin in our upcoming videos so you can help more people buy vehicles from your dealership today.